Hey, it's Chris Bowling.
Hey, it's Chris Beyer. CB, we are kicking off a new series for
We
the
are, and I always love a series.
I do too. We have spent the first half of the year hearing things change very quickly for our clients, for our prospective clients. We want to talk about some of the current challenges facing the C-suite. So the CEO, the HR director, and the CFO, and kind of what their perspective has, a little bit with benefit strategy, but also just what are their priorities and how have they changed in the first half of the year?
Yeah. And I would say what I'm noticing earlier is more conversations around budget, right? Is what do you think that budget's going to look like for 2023?
Right.
Just because we have so many things changing within our business, within our expenses, with obviously employees, and can we start having those conversations earlier? Can we get to that number quicker?
Right.
Just because we're having to make some pretty big decisions right now, and that's always that one hanging out there that is sort of unknown until you get sort of into that late summer, early fall, and man, they want these numbers now.
Well, you think about the first half of 2022, we've had supply chain issues, we've had a jump in wages significantly, both by the market, but also just companies trying to be proactive with their current employees and their new hires.
Yes.
Certainly dealt with international challenges with the war in Ukraine, which has led to more supply chain and cost issues. And then inflation hit us this quarter like crazy. You think of our clients that are in the trucking industry and they're paying twice what they were for fuel and wages, or those that are in the agriculture industry, that they're trying to support the farmers that are now spending, again, twice as much for fuel. I think we haven't yet seen the ripple of what inflation is really going to mean in the second half of the year, but they're thinking about next year already.
No, and from our own standpoint, we did our salary increases in May. Went up more than we have in the past 3 years, and we still are concerned, right, that our employees are struggling with, as you said, gas, food, rent. If you want to go buy, a house right now, obviously you're going to be paying a much higher interest rate than you were, a year ago. So we get it because we're in that same spot. You and I are, part of the ownership group, we're part of our management team, and we're having the same conversations, that our clients are.
So if we look at each of those roles, and we'll dive into each one of those in a separate session, but the CEO's perspective on what's happened in the first half of the year and how these current challenges will impact them more long-term. Certainly the HR director from the perspective of what's happening with my employees and my culture,
right?
Making sure that we have the right people and go through that. And then our last one will be focused on the CFO role and those tough decisions on how do we adjust the budget now and not sacrifice our ability to be profitable, but still make sure that we're providing what we need to our customers. I think all three of those are very topical right now as we're going into the third quarter.
Yeah, and you know what? We're always looking for feedback, right? So when we post these, let us know what your thoughts are, because we're seeing it, from our side, from our client side. But that's the beauty of this, is that we get a better perspective by some input. So
I'm in one of those roles, or you're seeing something contrary to what we think is happening in our Midwest market, let us know, because we are appreciative of that feedback, because it helps us learn what's happening around the country and then maybe some industry specific information. So CB will kick it off next week. We'll be coming in with what we see the CEO dealing with today in terms of current challenges.
Awesome. I look forward to it.
Thanks, CB.
Thanks, man.